Let's do this. All right, good evening, everybody. It's Rodin again, and welcome to Eve Station Trading episode 62. And we got some good stuff today. Holy shit. Same stuff as usual. We'll go over our older calls from last week. And we're basically gonna do good on most of the stuff we wanted to go over this week. I think the only thing we couldn't really do from what we wanted to accomplish was going over UALX items, individual items that are actually traded in volume. I'll be honest, it just wasn't a whole lot. It just was not a whole lot of stuff being traded in volume, just the nature of the beast of being in NOSEC. A lot of that stuff comes in by way of contracts or locally sourced, so you don't really see that kind of stuff enter the public market sphere, okay? But one thing that we definitely going to be going over today is last week we talked about investment opportunities, and we kind of discussed how does one go about that, what's the best way to actually get supporters. And lo and behold, we're actually going to go over a successful attempt to get some money coming into your operation, and then we'll talk about what do you actually do once you get the money, and how did we actually get there. Also, it's a good thing to go over, okay? Because a lot of people still struggle with, I have a good thing going, I got a great operation, but no one wants to give me money to help support it. Or I really need the money to scale it up, but I don't have the cash right now. All right, so those are the things we're going to be going over, okay? So, we're going to go ahead and get started with our old calls first. One thing real quick. One thing I forgot to do. Alright, let's do this. So we're going to get started with our previous call. First one I'm going to go over is the Caldari Navy Medium Shield Extender. Very popular item for faction warfare type of market interaction. Definitely a mainstay for sure, at least from how I actually do my faction warfare stuff. I almost always, if I have to do Caldari, I almost always look at Caldari Navy Medium Shield Extenders first. Let's see. Not a whole lot of difference. It's basically stuck around. It basically stuck around the same trade channel there. Yeah, not a whole lot of difference. Is it flippable? Let's take a look. 12 to 14, yes, that's pretty flippable. 16% difference, yeah, totally flippable. I'm not sure how long this is actually sustainable. I know last week we actually talked about a lot of times we don't see the items necessarily get used in space or get destroyed, so it's just a medium for laundering the LP out into ISK. Taciturn says trade channel is good though, right? Yeah, totally. Within that trade channel, it's totally flippable with a 16% difference in value. So yeah, worth it. There's not a whole lot that you can trade for 16%. That's for sure. Volume-wise, that's is there an in-game channel for my operations for this kind of stuff specifically? No, more for investment type activities, which I'll post. It's always good to have some new blood in there. So that's my Discord for our investment type activities. Alright, so a good call on the Kildari Navy and Shield Centers. Wasn't really expecting anything drastic from that. It's actually been sitting on that same trade channel for the better part of its 90-day history, so next item. Brudig's Navy issue. This was a hot commodity from last week, man. Oof. I wish someone was able to actually take advantage of the low price. If they want to implement that in their doctrines, which, yeah, sure, why not? It's a good ship. It's a good ship. Wow, it's still a buy. It got narrower, so that's interesting. So the 5 and 20-day moving average just got narrower. So what does that mean? Something's about to happen. I don't think it's going to get lower. I really don't think it's going to get lower. There's no reason for it to. I don't think so. Is this a historical low? Okay, so 150 mil. Seems like it. Seems like it is. No, it's dipped under it before. Okay. That's going back like really deep, so. Alright, that's not bad. 150, getting the Brudig's Navy, continuing to be able to get the Brudig's Navy issue at 150 mil. That's not bad. That's not bad. Man, it seems like we're actually hitting that same kind of thing where we're not seeing changes on our calls on a weekly basis, but it may be a more productive view at 2 weeks, vice one. That's probably just something we need to be aware of, kind of in the background, because I'm not sure how to be able to intelligently present two different time horizons. I just don't. We have to stick to one, to be honest. Historically, we'll have to stick to the 1 week. All right, next item. We called all P4s. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Let's break it apart. We called every single, or most of them. I'm pretty sure it was actually technically all of them. So we'll see. We'll see if any of them bounce back. It's a bit of bounce back on the broadcast notes, but I think it's just playing off the same trade channel. Let's go back 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's say 2.1 mil with the ability to have gotten rid of it at 2.2. 2.1 to 2.2. Hey, Notorious, what's up, buddy? 4%, not much there. Wasn't a lot of play on broadcast nodes. I think it's more of a, if you can get it kind of cheap right now. Oh, thank you very much for following, Notorious. Appreciate it. If you could have gone this at 2 even. See, that's just because we were bouncing off of the mean, right? So what if you gotten at 2 and offload at 2.2? That's much better. That's much better. Notorious asks, am I making billions on the market? On the market specifically? No. Off of cooperating with people that play the market? Yes. There's a distinct difference between the two. Very distinct difference. Which we'll actually go over today. Some elements of it. Based out of what we were talking about last week, which was taking advantage of investment opportunities for yourself or for your group in some capacity. All right. Good call, broadcast nodes. Oh, good call, integrity response runs for sure. Let's go back 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On that 7th day, you could have gone bottom end close to 2.25. Potentially, based off the Danchin. Torres says I'm way too lazy to do that stuff. So am I. That's why I work with people. Because I'm lazy. And they love doing the work. which they enjoy. So it's just finding the right hustle, man. Finding the right hustle. So potentially could have gone this pretty close to 2.25 and would have topped off at high end 2.7. So good range for the week. Let's take a look at that. 2.7 and 2.25. 20% difference in value. That's pretty good. Victoria's asks, wish I knew someone I could trust to invest money with. It takes time. It takes time. A lot of times, both aspects of the people who would like to have some funding and the people who want to give the funding have to kind of be in the scene for a while to figure out who's who, right? Hey Messiah says, what's the opinion of the mining ore market right now in the past 2 weeks? Akula says, oh, you can trust me. I trust you, Akula. I trust you, bro. Hick, as far as the mining ore market, the stuff I can show you in JITA is a very different picture from what I believe is actually happening in nullsec, just by virtue of JITA's cool, right? JITA's a big market, but I don't think it's still the universal market, all right? Especially for something like ores, where a lot of the bulk of the volume of how we interact with ores in game, I'm pretty sure it actually happens locally in nullsec. So by the time it gets to JITA, I think it's a pretty diluted look by then, okay? And a lot of people give it, I think, a little bit too much hype, okay? That's just me, though. Notorious says, I used to chat with someone from the infamous spy organizations. Why do we have spy organizations? They're so embedded into the gameplay. I mean, spies, everyone's got spies. Coolest, I think, in nullsec hubs are semi-independent of JITA these days. I believe the same thing, man. I really, really do. That's why I think from last week, people were kind of commenting. It's like, oh, why aren't you seeing the picture on ores in JITA? It's right there. It's because the delve people are doing this. Like, yeah, no, fool, I get it. It's just, it's not the whole picture. That's just the JITA picture. That's not the universal picture. I mean, I get it, delve or go home, I get it. It's just, that's still not the whole picture. It's not delve online. It's still EVE online. I'm sorry. It's one of those things. Yeah, they have their own movement. They totally have their own movements. I mean, certain people control a lot of buybacks, and that's probably where a lot of that stuff gets filtered through, in all honesty. Alright, next item, I'll go nanofactories. Probably going to be a while here in P4s. Oh, it got deeper up for the nanofactories. Whoa. It's technically still same trade channel, but it looks like it's about to go down. I think it's going to touch 1 million. I really think it's going to touch 1 million, but not for long. I've played nanofactories before. I don't recall ever playing them right at 1 million, to be honest. Hick says, I'm kind of new to the whole mining and ore market, so I wasn't sure if JITA was the place to look. It's a good barometer for sure. It's just, for something like that, because you got to figure, null's huge, JITA's in one place. There's a lot of effort to get the ores, even the compressed ones, into JITA, right? So there's a lot of labor behind that kind of material movement. Tori says, I'm talking about the golden hand. I think that was her name. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like the subterfuge stuff, I think it's super cool, but at the same time, it's not my world, because yeah, I mean, my world is the money. My world is the money and the people that deal with it and the people that do the social engineering for the money. Not really I think it's like super closely related in method, in some aspects, but of course different. Actually, not really. I mean, it could be the same kind of effect too, right? Depending on, I think it all depends on perspective, but it's totally meta, and I love playing it. Who says JITA is a decent indicator where EVE market is, but nullsec does not move in sync with it anymore. I agree. I totally agree. And I think a lot of people like shit on my head for thinking that, to be honest. At least not as tightly as before. Yeah, I totally agree with Willis, but I think I get a lot of flack for thinking that way though, which I get. I guess I get. I mean, I get it. I think I get a lot of that flack from like the Delve people, which I kind of get because, I mean, if I play Eve in such a way that where I live has a lot of effect on the game, I guess my perception is going to be greatly affected by that fact. It's not even an observation; it's a fact, right? So, yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know. I definitely get a lot of flack from Delve people about that stuff, which I don't mind. I mean, differing opinions is good. Keeps the conversations lively. Nanofactories, still a buy, but I think it's going to go down. I think it's going to touch 1 million because the averages are getting below the 5-day moving averages. So I'd be watching Nanofactories. Be careful. Does it have a history of going under 1 million though? Let's take a look. It does on Danchin, but on Danchin's that's going to be super outlier though. No, not really. I guess getting close to 1 mil is a historic. Oop! Just as I say that, something crazy happens on Danchin. We got close to almost 750K. This was about a year ago now. Probably a bit over. Alright, so it has historically reached almost 70K, 750K. That's pretty impressive. Deep. That's a super deep cut, man. Holy crap. Alright, next item. I might start tracking mogul portfolio values out of Jita versus the Goon Hub for a bit to see how it differs, out of curiosity. What kind of hypothesis would you form before even doing that? Like, I don't have much of a hypothesis. I believe it's probably going to be pretty close as far as those two areas specifically. Buckle up says join Goons or will never be a problem again. But isn't the availability of it, the very easy availability of it, potentially a problem in the future? Or am I crazy by thinking that? I'm thinking more of the universal term buckle up, not just Goons. I mean, more universal. Outside of Delve. Delve plus the rest of Eve, okay? Is 10% enough of a barometer though, Kulo? As an index? Is that generally a good method? I don't know. I honestly don't know. As far as portfolios, I never got that deep into portfolios. Oh, that's a pretty awesome function for mogul though. Eve mogul. Buckle has that say it's a problem for non-goons. I'd say I agree. I would say it's a problem not necessarily from the plain old movement of the materials from point A to point B. I think it's more of your ability to move as one unit, as directed by the people, by key personalities. And I think that's super, super dangerous. And it's so cool that we have a group like that can actually do that. I think a lot of groups are missing out by not being able to do that. And I'm not sure why they can't do that, because you guys have obviously come up with the model. I'm not sure why everyone else either doesn't want to do that model or cannot do the model. Hicks says 25% I think would be better, but that's a big chunk of info. Oh yeah, that's true. I just need an alt and goons to get the ESI data. Pretty sure it's not that hard, bro. Pretty sure it's not that hard. Organic motor applicators. It started pushing up, but not much. It's technically still a buy, but I think once the 5-day moving average crosses the 20, it would have tracked down towards pretty close to the 90-day low, so definitely still a buy. What is why P4 is moving? People are dumping it, bro. People are legit dumping this, and no one's picking it up from sell side. I guess we kind of underestimated historically how much people have bought it sell side, but I can speak at least for my interactions with P4s. P4s, my corporation, and the people within Legacy Coalition that are super interested in getting them. It's definitely getting sourced locally in nullsec. It's the stuff is not making it to JITA. Hey, thank you for following X47774X. Holy crap. I almost didn't get that one. Yeah, but a lot of that stuff gets sourced locally, harvested, sold locally in nullsec, turned into structures. So thanks for following, Ian32. And it just doesn't make it to. It just does not make it to JITA. So, and the stuff that does make it to JITA, people are just dumping into cells. It's more cell action. That's why it's going low. If P4s are sourced locally, then the supply should drop in JITA. It's the supply is getting the supply and the demand is being met at sell side though. So that's why it's trending lower. Now, I think you really need a tools guy. I think a tools guy is better to actually answer that question more intelligently than I can, because I can only look at what's in front of me. Yeah. I mean, it's just it's a half-ass answer though, Kulo, you know, because I don't have the raw like Adam for Eve numbers. I don't have the lockbox numbers, bro. I don't have the lockbox numbers. I communicate this to you guys based on what we all can see equally, which is the market window in JITA. Just the base vanilla stuff, right? Hey, thanks for following. Poopologist. That's hot. That's hot. Alright, next item, recursive computing modules. Man, I love this. I used to actually build this myself, man. Oh, trade channel. It's on trade channel. Is it tradable right now? 1.4 to 1.5? Nah, bro. No way. No way. If you got it at 1.4 and sold it at 1.7, it's probably it's gonna take a while to hit 1.7 again, based on how low it's trending. I think at least another maybe 6 months. Magic ST says ESI endpoints for public contracts will ruin public contracts. How will it ruin it though? Oh, buckle up! How do Gilas look? It looks really good that we called it 2 weeks ago. Really good. Let's go through our first tangent here. Gila. So mind you, we called it 2 to 3 weeks ago, right? 2 or 3 weeks ago we called it as a buy. We called it as a buy. You're welcome, homies. You're welcome. Dude, bro. We called it right here. We called it right here. You're welcome. You're welcome. Dude, a lot of my corp mates made money off this. Well, no, I shouldn't say a lot. Some made money off this. You're welcome, Eve. Katie says I got 10 at 220 and sold 10 at 307. Whoa! What? Trading bots. I really don't have the knowledge. I don't have enough technical knowledge to actually engage any kind of conversations about trading bots. I really don't. Because I myself don't even trade that much anymore. I do more trading / social things, investment type things. That's really what I do. More of what I do, which I really want to get into. I really want to get into that today, guys. Self-harmonizing power core. A little bit of increase. Not much though. Not much. What's that? Let's go 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mean of 2.03. Okay. And you could have gone as high as 2.1. 2 to 2.1. Let's do that. 5%. Not a whole lot. Oh, Cat Ziggy. Yeah, buddy. Robotics. Let's finish these last two P4s real quick, guys, and then we'll definitely take a look at robotics. Robotics used to be a lot more volatile slash profitable these days. Just not impressed, bro. Not impressed. Not impressed. Same trade channel for serial conduits. So let's see. Let's call that. That's like what, 1.5, 1.15, 1.15 to 1. No. 1.15 to 1.3. That's not much. I'm not gonna math that. It's not much there. Wetware, it's trade channel. Can it go back to 2.5? Yeah, I think it can get to 2.5 within the next, I don't know, probably 2 to 4 weeks. If you got it as close at 2 right now, actually, you would not have gotten it at 2. 2.09 to 2.5. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so pretty good basic calls on the P4s, guys. I think those are going to end up being midterm calls. You're probably going to have to wait anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to actually see some action on that end. Okay, but let's take a look at robotics real quick before we move on. Ah, that's a buy. That sucker's not done going down, bro. That is not done going down. I think you can get this as at 95 even, or pretty close to it, as an outlier. Even if let's say you did get it at 95k, sell it at 1.1, just to be on the conservative side. 95k to 1.1. 15%. That's actually not bad. That's assuming you can get to 95. I think it'll reach 95. Maybe in the next 2 weeks or so. Alright. Alright, so those were all our buys, guys. And now I'm going to go over our sells from last week. Caldari Navy Hornet. Sell from last week. Yeah, you needed to have sold it last week, because it's actually trending downwards now. Rito says you still have a large batch. You got 85. Oh, you're sitting good. You're good. You're good. You're good, man. Caldari Navy Hornet was a good sell. Now it's not so much. So hopefully you guys were able to offload it then. Caldari Navy Hook. Cool to call this. It's still in the trade channel, but not as strong. Last week would have been the better time to have sold it, because it's about to probably go back down to. I don't think you think you'll hit 12.5, Akula? Probably not, though, right? That's kind of a deep cut, especially considering the volume. I don't think it's gonna hit 12.5. Probably not. It'll get close, but I don't think it'll actually hit it. And finally, rattlesnake. You'll go back up. You think you'll hit 17.5 again? So that's a bit kind of that's kind of really reaching for the stars, right? All right, so the rattlesnake, we did call this as a sell. I'm kind of surprised it's correcting already. That's a bit of a shame, man. The best time to have sold this would have been when we called it. But it's already fallen. But Calvin has fallen apart though, by virtue of their interior control. They've been in T1 for a while. I mean, even if the current strong guard leave, that just means they're gonna be in T1 for longer, right? I mean, but a lot of times, and you and I know that those vacuums tend to be filled by somebody. Or at least it's an opportunity for the vacuum to be filled by somebody. I'm not sure who's there. That's left to actually even fill it. To be honest with you, I couldn't name a group. No way, no way. I couldn't name a group. All right, so those were our reviews from last week, guys. All right, so the next I'm gonna go over, we're gonna go over some UALX contracts. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in chat so that we can all Block and Calcif. Oh, those are the big dogs too, man. Those are they were Cal Mill. Like they epitomize Cal Mill. The presence, you know what I mean? That's a shame. Are they just gonna go pirate, or what are they gonna do? If you happen to know. Are they really? No. Really? Do I trade in Invisible modules? Me personally, no, but I do have resources that do. But not me personally. So these, so the first one we're gonna look at, guys, these are UALX contracts. Okay, so we're looking at the UALX contract itself and comparing it to Jita Cell. We're using Jita Cell because these are Tech 2 items. Okay, it will just take way too long for your Tech 2 item buys to be matched in Jita. It's out of my own experience. Okay. Great Wildlands. Gross. Ugh. How the heck would you go to Great Wildlands, man? Alright, Fleet Tackle Stiletto. Jita Cell of 41 mil. UALX contracts. Availability of 55 mil. Let's take a look at that. 55 to 41. 34% increase in value. I think it's worth it. Considering the small M3 as well, especially for all of these, especially if you have, and at least in my organization, we do have a drum fader service that follows a model of ISK per M3. Okay, so if I were to actually seed the Fleet Tackle Stilettos, I got a good chance of making a good chunk of money there. All right, so there's something. If you're able to do that in UALX, hey dudes, go for it. The next few, we're actually going to go over a few of these Fleet Tackle interceptors, okay? So this one's the Fleet Tackle Ares. Jita Cell 39 mil, UALX availability 55 mil. So better than 30%. That's good. I'm kind of surprised that they're able to actually pull off such margins, because there's actually a few of these that are on contract. Actually, I'm almost certain it's all made by one guy, so it's not like there's competition, at least for now. So hopefully someone will actually challenge them. Fleet Tackle Crow, Jita Cell 42, UALX availability of 55 mil, 30% range, 34%. Good deal. These are way better numbers than the other items we've actually been looking at for UALX. I think a good kind of thing to go by is, if it's super popular, it's probably going to be low margins, right? Because it's super popular. Everyone has the idea of seeding it. So this is really good to actually seed these small ships, these small doctrines that have a good chance of dying and need a whole lot of replacements. Okay. And our last look right here, Cloak Bomber Torp Hound. I did not see any Raptors that were actually available on contracts. These are all done. This information was gathered yesterday. I should start off with that. But as of yesterday, there were no Raptors. Cloak Bomb Torp Hound, Jita Cell 54, UALX availability of 70 mil. 54 to 70. 29% increase in value. Pretty good. I think it's worth it. I really think it's worth it. Now, by saying that, for all we know, it's gonna get saturated, right? Because people are aware that the margins are good, and people kind of lemming into these things. People lemming not just in combat, but people lemming in markets as well. It's quite a sight to see, in honesty. All right, cool. So those were all our contract reviews. And we're definitely not, we did not get a chance to look at individual items because we want to look at under the context of volume as well. Not a lot of volume, okay, not a lot of volume, so we didn't get to see that, guys. All right, so the next thing I want to go over, guys, not so much anything for our market updates personally. My Minokawa is still on sale in UALX in public markets, not contracts, public market. So maybe the factors just aren't dying, so no one needs replacement. So yeah, that's okay. Worst case scenario, if the market sale time runs out, I can use it myself. So no harm, no foul there. All right, so the big thing I want to talk to you guys about is our investment opportunities. So last week we actually kind of did a half shill, half educational thing where I was going over how to acquire funds. All right, I'll see you around. Buckle up. So we were kind of going over, is my corporation actually ready to receive funds like that or ask for funds like that? How would we actually manage it, etc., etc. Okay, so based on that shill, we actually, and me talking specifically to certain people that are kind of in that circle, all right, I was actually able to secure for my corporation for the purpose of enhancing our buyback programs. I was able to secure 50 bill for us. So I was able to secure for us 50 billion ISK in investment funds. And I kind of want to go over that and go over the elements of that investment agreement. Okay. So we're basically just gonna go over the 5 W's and the H's, right? The who, what, where, when, whys, and hows. And hopefully that's gonna start some conversations between. So now that, so we're gonna go over well, I guess before we get started with this, I think we should start off with how does one get 50 bill? All right. So throughout this whole discussion, I'm not gonna name any names. I'm not gonna call out our supporters because I think it's just bad form. All right. So, in the world of EVE alts, for all I know, they're actually like our enemies, right? For money people, that's irrelevant. Rita says legal way, or well, I asked. So basically, okay. So how did we get the 50 bill? So I basically go private DM. Oh hey dude, hey before I go public on this, I'm gonna go ask for. I'm actually asking for 50 billion ISK of investment funds for my corporation to help enhance their buyback program. I wanted to offer it to you first before I made it public. Are you interested? And the answer was yes. And you will have 50 billion ISK at the end of the month. Just like that. All right. That's. It almost said both parties are high, right? So now one thing that probably will it may rub people the wrong way. This investment opportunity, this loan, or whatever you want to call it, is actually uncollateralized. So why is that a big deal? Uncollateralized. That's basically saying if I ran away with the money, I ran away with the money. No one's holding collateral to give back to the investor. It's a lot of risk for the investor to participate in uncollateralized loans. I'm gonna be absolutely upfront with that. Agulas as we get run. So, but that's the reality of it, though, guys. That's the reality of it. The operator, the guy who has who's willing to trade his labor for money, right, can absolutely run with the money. But what's stopping him from running with the money, or what mechanics are there that's actually stopping him from running with the money? There's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot, okay? But I'm gonna stick specifically to my case and my corporation's case. Okay? We're not gonna run with the money because I like being able to just ask people for 50 bill and they give it to me. I like the ability to ask kind people with big wallets for big sums of money, and they feel that I'm trustworthy enough to be given said large amounts of money. That's huge, guys. That's absolutely huge. Of course, to be fair, 50 bill is chump change at this stage. No, I totally agree. Cool. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's just that for my corporation, for what we're trying to do, that's definitely not chump change. Definitely not chump change. Because it's really going to be able to scale us up. It's really going to be able to scale us up. Now, mind you, we're a corporation that's not even 3 years old. Not even 3 years old, bro. So to be able to come across that kind of money in this fashion is huge for us. Absolutely huge. It was a better wait a month. Ask for another 100 bill, a pair of sneakers, and do a runner. No, I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna run. I mean, I didn't run on my first set of investments, and I made double money on people in the first 4 months. So, right. So that's how we came upon the money, guys. I asked nicely, and people were willing to say, "Sure thing, Rodin. Sure thing." You know, so that's not a situation that a lot of people may find themselves in. Just being honest, especially my market Discord. I think a lot of people get really frustrated that no one wants to support them. And it's not that they're not good operators. It's not that they don't have a good plan. It's just that they don't know you. It's a know you thing. So, that's to be fair. That's how rep grinding works. Bro, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for my first operation, when I was absolutely public with it, there's no way I can, in good conscience, ask people for large amounts of money on Colat and be successful. There's no way, right? But so that's kind of the environment that we find ourselves in right now. So we're gonna go carry on with the kind of Criminal Connections 5 Tasterin. Yeah, not really. Kinda. I mean, the people that do my line of work, man, and the market people, we're all hustlers, man. Don't let them fool you. We're all hustlers. We're all hustlers. It's just, we look nice. We look really, really nice. Alright, so the road said next time you need 50 bill, ask for 75. Actually, we were shooting for 100, but I was like, hey guys, you sure you can sustain 100? Because you're gonna have to pay this back. So we dropped out of 50. We're actually approaching this super conservatively. So the 50 billion that we got, and we're gonna cover all this. So let's go and get started. So who are the key players? That's the first question. So the key players are my corporation, StarTide Industries, member of Drone Walkers Alliance. We are in the Legacy Coalition. We live in Impasse. It's actually really good. Akua says, did you guys run the numbers? Yeah, we definitely ran the numbers. And the conservative look right now is we needed 50 bill to sustain our buyback operations, which can be scaled based on our moon availability. Okay. PowerPoint, I couldn't give it to you. Actually, let's segue to that real quick, guys. Let's segue to that real quick. Why am I talking about it? I'm talking about it because I'm the one who facilitated the exchange of money and services, right? But I'm actually not part of the people that will do the work, the actual operator work, okay? That makes me sound like super slimy, I think. That makes me sound super slimy, right? I'm not gonna do any of the work, but I'm just the guy who hustles the money from one hand to the other, right? So I think I accidentally found myself in this position of like finance guy for my corporation. I think, sort of, kinda. Maybe that's the wrong word to use, finance guy. If the guys running it get hit by the bus, will you cover the loan? Yep, I got it. That's one of my purposes. I'm basically uh, isolating the. I'm basically isolating both parties. The person who loaned us the person or persons who loaned us the money will deal only with me if they want to. My corporation that does the work and does the mining and the moving things and the production and the selling of things, they don't have to interact with the person who gave us the money unless they want to. So both parties are basically dealing with me. So is that good or bad? I think it's good for them because they can just continue to carry on with whatever it is that they love doing in Eve without having to interact with each other unless they absolutely want to. Okay. Cool says I'm a walking collateral. Is that good or bad though? That sounds bad actually. That sounds bad. That means that's bad, isn't it? I think it's bad to be a walking collateral. But yeah, I mean, in a way, I kind of use my trustworthiness to get to where we are now. I don't think that's abusive. I think that's literally just using what's available. That's just me, though. All right, so those are the key players. Our supporters, they don't have to interact with my corp people, and my corp people who do the work, they don't have to interact with the supporters. They just have to interact with me. I'm not even holding anything. Like, I'm not even like. So the money will move to Rodin, and Rodin will send to Corp Wallet, and that's it. When it's time for payouts, Corp will send money to Rodin. Rodin will send to supporters. Done. Cool says we have input in the operation, or you'll have nothing to do with the day-to-day. I have nothing to do with the day-to-day. The operation is a lot bigger than what I'm used to dealing with, in all honesty. It's a lot more complicated than what I'm used to dealing with, and it covers a lot more space that I'm used to covering with just my own set of operations. It's from the operation end, it's very much over my head. That's why I'm limiting myself to the lane of let's make sure the money moves. Let's make sure the money moves from point A to point B, and then by the time it hits point C, it's increasing value. And then I'll make the exchanges after that. Rita says if it fails, he's going to be a dancer to pay it off. Maybe. Because I'm worried what happens if the guys get laser bored. You may have to be forced to step in. That's definitely a potential worry, but at the same time, we really needed it because we needed to ensure that by the time we have started to scale, we can continue to scale up to where we were expecting ourselves to be in based on how kind of we've been planning our move from our previous alliance to now and how the region looks right now. It's a really good corp, man. I'm not afraid that if people get lazy or bored, yeah, it happens, but we have more than the people that actually step in, and we're kind of aware that does happen because we're a corporation that actually leads that yeah, we get it. Real life goes first, man. So it's one of those things. Would you keep an eye on finances of the operation, make sure they're on track? As far as that's concerned, at the end of the day, the way it operates right now, man, to be honest, is there's key personalities that manage things, and I'm not one of those key personalities. I'm just the guy who makes sure things move from point A to point B. But based on the growth that I've seen, my corporation growth in terms of structures owned, recruitment, and killboard, and how big the wallets are moving, I'm pretty confident. I'm personally pretty confident. Rita said that they give a date when they expect the money back. Yep. So the returns are 5% every month. It seems really low, especially for an uncolat, but it's Rodin, so I can afford it. Cool says, oh, so you're the bag man. I am the bag man. I am the bag man. I love it. All right, so what is the operation? It's basically all the stuff that you can do in null. Moon mining, Rorqual mining, ratting, building, moving things from point A to point B to turn them into ships, straight up trade operations. We really run the gamut. That's why it's really hard to come up with metrics, simple metrics to itemize each operation. I think it's pretty impossible, to be honest. So what we're going to end up doing in order to present this information to our investors would be we start with wallet size A. Now we have wallet size B, and this is the time that has lapsed in between. Cool says, okay, obvious question. What do they need the money for? Is there some sort of a breakdown? The money is needed for scaling, because some of our key corp members are going to be able to run certain ships that will allow them to make money a heck of a lot faster than they do now. And we need to be able to support the buyback program as we have it structured right now, once they are able to hop into ships that are a heck of a lot more profitable than what they're sitting in right now. It's merely to facilitate scaling. This is specific, so the money's going specifically to buyback, and the buyback will basically umbrella into everything. Yeah, I mean, Rito's right. You need money to make money. That's basically what it is. I need, this is basic. If we were to take it down to the simplest explanation, I need it for buyback. I need 50 bill to improve our buyback, please. And people were more than likely to help out. Actually, we kind of, by having this quick conversation, guys, we actually covered a lot of things I wanted to go over. I think the last thing that didn't get covered by you guys' question, which I'm very, very appreciative of, is how to communicate the operation to investors in the public. Cool says, I'm surprised there was no one that would fill that internally. What do you mean by internally? Like alliance? Like coalition? Is that or within corp? Is that what you mean, Akula? We were tapped out. We were legit tapped out, Akulu. Tapped out. No cash. No liquidity. No liquidity. That's why we reached out. Bro, 50. Well, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. It was I think it would have been a tough. So I didn't give it a full-hearted attempt to sell internally, because I'd rather my guys had the cash to get into the ships they wanted. Because if you know what I mean, I don't know of a model that would have actually facilitated them getting into the better ships and getting liquid into the wallets, you know. 50 bill worth of war bonds, dude. If I knew how to use like the core asset things, yeah, I probably would have done something like that. The way Caleb does, I probably would have done something like that. Before the moon, Rito says, before the moon update, I also had a small investment. Got 10 bill to make 6 bill per month. Oh, good. That's really good returns. And that changed with the moon update. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, God bless Caleb, man, for being able to do that stuff. That's a lot of patience, man, to do the corp assets like that. Ugh, I can't do that. No way. I hope he continues to actually do that stuff, but I don't know. I'm hearing some stuff, man. So we'll see. I think our yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he can continue, but I don't know. Let's see. I'm not really. I don't have money in his operation, so I don't know. But we need more people like that actually will get into the weeds of how EVE works to facilitate some kind of meta market stuff. I appreciate it. All right, but the last question that we didn't go over based on our conversations, guys, would be how to communicate this to investors and public. I mean, we kind of hit on it, and my answer is basically it's going to be too hard. but we have to find a way, basically. So that's going to be my job as the bag man, as Akulo has described, to figure out how to extract that information and communicate it in an intelligent way, to detail our progress. It should be in line with when the payouts are, so at least monthly, right? Because we're doing a monthly payout. For when I was doing my fund, I did my reports at the same frequency that I did payouts. So I think we should do the same. Report at the same frequency as payouts. That way the investors will feel like, oh, okay, this is what's happening with my money. Make them feel good. And be honest. If you have a low month, you have a low month. You're going to have to suck it up. You're going to have to come up with the money somehow, or communicate that we can't pay out because of blah reason. All right. So things to consider. Pool says, to be fair, an investor should not give a damn what the operation looks like. As long as you're guaranteeing the loan, the only thing that matters is your rep. Yep. For the most part, yeah. So at the end of the day, if the shit hit the fan, Rodent owes 50 billion. That's the answer. If shit hit the fan, Rodent owes 50 billion. And that's why I'm the middleman. So it isolates the people that have the money from the people who are working with the money. And as long as Team A gets what they need and Team B gets what they need, then I guess it doesn't really matter, right? So that's where, in my line of work, I'm really the guy who is the most liable. I'm really the guy who is the most liable, right? But it's going to be up to me to communicate that to both sides of the table. So I like it. I really, really like that kind of gameplay, because it's doesn't really feel like a game anymore. You know, it doesn't really feel like a game anymore. I love it. I absolutely love it. So hopefully, you guys are. See, on one side we have the rich players. On the other side we have players that are trying to get rich. With in between. Yep. Basically, I'm the guy in between. Was I needed though? I think that's a good question. Was I actually needed to facilitate that transaction? Technically, yes. Because I was the guy with the contacts. Technically, yes. But if that was the only thing that was making me a unique, though, right? Outside of that, I think they could have figured it out on their own, right? Hey, Joy, what's up? What kind of capital would be expected if I wanted to make 2 billion ISK a week in trading as a start? That's your goal? Then I would say that 2 billion better be 10% of your bankroll. Yeah, I think 10% gains every week is very reasonable. Totally reasonable. If you're willing to do the work. Totally reasonable. But if you want to do less work, you should probably try to be a hustler and get to know people and be trustworthy and then use it. Right? Rita says, with work, you mean spreadsheets? I don't make spreadsheets. I'm a trader, and I work with investors and operators, and I deal with 50 billion ISK transactions in not a whole lot of goes, and I don't use spreadsheets. Why do I need spreadsheets? A lot of people get like hung up on spreadsheets and tools. I'm not a tools guy. I'm a talker. I'm a hustler. I'm a snake oil merchant, man. A snake oil merchant. But in the end, everyone gets paid. Everyone gets their money. Everyone gets increased value. Because he hasn't reached the spreadsheet stage of development. Like no, for real though, I just don't see the value. Like for how I operate, I genuinely don't need it. Even when I was managing our funds, I didn't use spreadsheets. Not one time. Let me take that back. The only time I managed spreadsheets is as a checkoff list, so that when I paid you guys, I didn't double pay anyone. That was the only time. That's the only reason I had spreadsheets is for payouts. So I didn't double pay anyone. That's it. It depends on your perception too, right? On your perception of the operation. Tacidurin asks, how often do you guys update your market orders? When I was deep into it, I updated twice a day, and only twice a day. But I projected my adjustments though, so that was a little different. I don't think that's an advanced maneuver. I really don't think that's an advanced maneuver. Anybody can do that, and it's kind of common sense. You know, you should update your orders to where you think the majority of the orders will land. Cool. So I update once a month. You sound like a faction warfare trader, Akulo. Updating something once a month. And I think that's really all I have to communicate with you guys as far as actually just a few more things. So that's the environment that we find our investment activities in. And I'm going to make it a point to actually talk about what I can to be public concerning our investment activities, payouts, and things like that. I don't think I have the ability to really do blogs like I used to for this because I'm actually not involved in the work. So I can't speak of the work when I don't do it. But I will do my best to actually communicate this to you guys by using these segments to actually talk to you guys and keep myself on it. You know, keep the operation honest, keep myself honest, and make sure that we are super, super public. Because if it's public, then people know about it, and if people know about it, maybe they'll motivate people to kind of get into the same gameplay too. All right. All right. So with that being said, we're going to carry on to our calls for the week. I'm kind of scared about these calls, man. Who says, how about adding a segment on long-term investments? Like in general or this one specifically? Because I definitely want to add like investment segments like shilling for people's operations, shilling for people's wanting to donate money. In general, yeah, I totally want to do that. But I gotta have material. That's the thing. I gotta have material. Right now, I think a lot of people have their operations and they're kind of just sitting on it. So I don't really have a whole lot to report. But if I do, I definitely would like to. That's for sure. Definitely. Six-month investments and long-term predictions. Ooh, I don't know about the predictions, but the 6-month investments, I'm definitely digging that. Totally digging that. Right now, bro, I'm not gonna call out RMT stuff. No way, man. No way. Because it's so cyclical. It kind of gets boring. It really does get boring because it's the same variables that we discuss. You know, it's not a whole lot that actually push it. I think it's so much more predictable now than it was when it was still the big plex. Alright guys, so we're going to go over our picks of the week. The first one we're going to go over are the buys. We're going to call out neodymium. So one of the things we definitely wanted to make sure from last week is to look at raw moon materials. So that's the bulk of our calls today. Neodymium as a buy. Don't buy it yet though. Don't buy it yet. I think it's going to go down some more. The mean is continuing to trend down. The 5-day moving average is continuing to trend down and really breaking away from the 20-day moving average. I think it's going to go down close to maybe not reach 62.5, but I think it's going to go about halfway through. Probably close to like 65 to 70. Unless it's already at 70. Yeah, 65 to 70 is what I'm thinking. Scandium, we made a lot of Scandium calls in the past, man. We can take a look at it real quick though. But neodymium is a buy. Don't buy it yet. I think it'll go lower. Shoot for at least 70. Or not at least, but top end 70. Top end 70. Oh, bro, Scandium is about to hit a elevated trade channel. It's probably not gonna be tradable. It's probably gonna stick. Well, I don't think it's gonna be that tradable. Let me start with that. I don't think it's gonna be that tradable. Unless you can play off the edges of the dodging channels. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. You can try though. I mean, if you can babysit it, this may be a good thing. But if you cannot babysit this, I'd walk away. I'd walk away. All right, the next one I'm gonna look at, guys, is platinum for buys. Unlike the neodymium call, I think this actually has an established bottom end. I think you can I shouldn't say comfortably. I think it's possible to actually get this at 22.5 for buys. I think that's going to be the hard floor for a while. On this trade channel, I think it's going to be a hard floor. Hard floor. Oh, you're waiting to offload the Scandium, Rito? Jeez. How long are you willing to wait, bro? Let's see if this is tradable right now at 22.5. Is that 22? Yeah, 22.5. Yeah, it's sitting at 22.5. Let's say 22 to 24. 9%, that's not bad. That's actually not bad. That's not bad. Considering the volume, 2 mil is possible. Daily volume, yeah. That's not bad. That's not bad. Alright, and our last item for buys, guys, armor plates. The salvage type armor plate. We did call that out from last week. We wanted to go over some salvage stuff. There wasn't a whole lot that was actually looking interesting, unfortunately. But this definitely looked interesting. Why is this house titanium looking? It's probably still a good sell. Because Delve doesn't want to sell it. Buy for armor plates because of its elevated price right now. But I don't know how far down this is going to correct. I'd watch this for now. If you were to buy it now, I think you're going to end up buying it at a point where it wasn't quite the lowest yet. So this is definitely like a watchful buy call, I think. Because I really think it's still going to go down. I don't think it's going to be a steady downward trend of a price action. It's just one of those things you're going to have to kind of make a call where you want to... If you can watch this for a week, I think it'll give you enough information after 1 week of observation to figure out if this is worth your time to play at the price that it's showing. It's too early to call where it's going to correct. Too early, but it is correcting. Okay. And those are all our buys, guys. Next one's going to go over our sells. We're going to go over sells of cobalt. Very steady, very steady. It did reach by virtue of the Donjon, it did reach the 90-day highs. I think it's done going up. If you're going to sell cobalt now, if you have cobalt now, and you don't know what to do with it, you don't have any plans to build anything out of it, is it sitting in your hangar, and you can get to G's relatively quickly, I'd sell it. I'd sell it. Let's see where it's sitting right now. If it's sitting anywhere near 2.5, I think you should do it. 2.4. See, this is interesting. When the buy and sell gets super tight like this, like it wants to go somewhere, but no one really knows where it can go. So someone has to kind of balls up and like do something with this. So if you got the balls to do something with this, do it. Do it. I think the natural reaction would be to actually start reversing from here. I don't think this upward movement's sustainable. I don't think so. Based on Danshin, I don't think so. It's getting super narrow. When it's getting super narrow on at an upward trend, it's probably about to correct. Probably about to correct. So if you're gonna sell it now. If you wait a week, I think it's too late. Based on this, I say based on this because it may look different the next few days. So just based on this right now, if you don't know what to do with your cobalt, it's just sitting in the hangar, and you can get to Gia safely. I think you should sell it. All right, next item, guys. Another salvage item: broken drone transceiver. Yeah, just sell it. It's sitting at 90-day highs. Just about 90-day highs. Is it going to correct? I think it's about to correct. Seeing as the last entry of a mean is actually under the 5-day moving average. However, the 5-day moving average is really high up there, and the 20-day moving average is trending upwards, but it's not trending as aggressively as the 5-day. So it's probably about to correct. If you wait the next 2-3 days, I think you're gonna miss this really really good opportunity to sell this stuff. So something to think about. And finally, guys, we have Orthros. This really surprised me. I mean, are people using this to do the sites? Is that a thing? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's high. It's going down right now, but it's still like a really high trade average, or trade channel rather. And it's sitting at what? 2.35 to whatever the bottom end is. 2.1, 2.3, or 2.35. Rito says, Orthros, I see loads of them in the wormhole these days doing combat sites. Really? Orthros, though? Really? Alright. I've never used an Orthros for PV. But if you're seeing them, okay, I guess there's value there. Let's see if it's tradable. 211 to 222. I don't know. 5%? Nah. Too tight. Why says Gilas should be interesting? Yeah, Gilas are crazy high right now. And good thing we called it, and hopefully some of you guys were actually able to make some profit out of that. Great for PvP, have you? Absolutely great for PvP. I was surprised it was actually trending downwards that long. I didn't realize it was trending downwards that long. Orthrosis can do wormhole combat size? Question mark. Apparently they can. I was not aware. I legit was not aware. Nope, not at all. All right, guys. So that's basically what we got. Thank you very much for the discussions today. Really appreciate it. I don't have anything else right now, but Jace, man, you have to leave the stage to be able to answer that question. I guess I'll never know the answer. What do I want to see next week? What is there anything you guys want to see next week? Actually, I don't have anything in mind right now. So I'm so not motivated to look at null markets right now because of the volume. Because that was a really good point that was brought up last week. If it's not a decent amount of volume supporting the null sec markets, it's a bit of an outlier naturally then, right? Let's look at NPC items. Wise. Bro, I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of want to look at Faction Warfare again, but at the same time, even with the loss of those mainstay Kaldari groups, like Okula mentioned, they're still a tier 1. It's not going to change anything. They'll just remain tier 1 longer. But I don't know if there's any effects of that we can actually display already, like right now. I don't think so. We may have to just call it as a free form for tomorrow, for next week, and see how the week develops. But I don't have anything that I really want to see right now. But something that I definitely do want to go over next week is probably explore more of the. Ooh, hold on, we got a thing here. Y says, is drug making still a thing? Yeah, definitely. Do you make them in ethanors now? I personally have never made them, so I actually can't answer that through experience. I don't know. Like, I want to go over moon materials, like the moon ores, but that stuff just doesn't make it to Jita, so I can't really show you guys well on stream how that picture looks. It's definitely a nullsec item. Alright, so I don't have anything right now, so I think we'll just play it off by ear and see how the week plays out and see what it gives us. Okay. Alright, and with that being said, that's really all I got, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate it. And yep, I got nothing. That's it. That's all I got, guys. But hey, thanks for being here. Thank you very much for the discussion, especially for our in the investment opportunities that's been gifted to us by our supporters by the amount of 50 billion ISK. Holy crap. That was literally like a 2-minute conversation, by the way. 2 minutes, 50 bill. Get some. Oh. We'll see. I definitely want to talk about how we're able to intelligently report to you guys the progress of that investment. I think it's super important not just to tell you guys our operations, but that really gives an idea for other people to follow as a model, maybe. But because right now there really isn't a model, because everyone's operation is different. Everyone's idea of how or what an investment is different, right? But hopefully we can kind of shed some light to this part of the market gameplay, this part of the actual open world parts of EVE. Because the open world parts of EVE, a lot of them just aren't as open world anymore. So I'm really fortunate to be able to share such things with you guys. All right. And with that being said, I think I'm going to call it. Thank you very much again, and we'll see you next week. All right. Thanks, guys.